How's it going? Welcome back to Crafting Cars. Today we're going to be doing the rear brakes on my BRZ as well as the rear diff fluid. Couple of things to note. You're going to want a little dead blow or some sort of hammer or mallet so that you'll be able to pound the rotor off in case it's stuck or seized onto the hub here. You're going to need a 14mm ratchet with a socket and a 14mm wrench. The top bolt is blocked by the brake line. So that's what I'm going to do. So with that said, let's get into it. All right, a couple of things I forgot to mention. One, you're going to want to make sure that your e-brake is off. I have the front of the car chalked up with a couple of rubber chalks. And then what you're going to want to do, since this does use a brake shoe as the e-brake, you're going to want to pull this plug right here. Just grab a pair of needle nose if you can't get it with your fingers, which I could not. And now there's an opening inside there. And they do make a special tool so you can go in there, because you're going to have a star nut looking thing, and there's a special tool that's nice and wide so you can get a higher chance of contact area. But if you don't have one of those, you're like $6-7. If you don't have one of those, go ahead and just use a flathead, and that's what I'm going to use here today. So you just twist it so that it sucks those the brake shoes in, so that it'll clear the inside lip of the rotor, and that way you can just pull it right off. The rotor's actually already loose, it's not seized to the hub from what I can tell when I was wiggling it, so we're just going to suck that in, pop her off. That little guy right there, and that's what you want to walk in case your rotor is seized. The factory hubs do come with two threaded holes, one here, and you can just thread it in, and it pushes right up against the face of the hub here, and it'll press that off. Alright, so now that this side is all done, a couple of things to note. I did put some caliper grease. I did put some of this on the slides, which is where the brake pads actually ride, because that just helps prevent squeaking in the future. And I also put some grease on the inside of the rotor to prevent it from rusting and seizing onto the hub. One last thing, of course, I sprayed everything down with some brake cleaner. So I'm going to do the same thing to the other side, but I'm not going to bore you guys with it. And then it's going to be diff oil. Alright, so now it's gear oil time. Picked this up from Subaru. All the other parts for the brakes and everything like that is picked up from my local auto parts store, O'Reilly's. I also have this, which is just a little pump, so I can stick it in here because of the angle underneath the car. It's really tight, and you aren't going to be able to tip the jug or anything like that. So this way I can keep the jug down low and pump it on in there. To fill it, you're also going to need a ratchet and a 10mm Allen, either an Allen wrench or an Allen socket, in this case a socket, and you're going to drain it first. So you're going to need an oil drain pan, and then you're going to fill it up. One other thing that I forgot to mention is that gear oil reeks, and if you get on your clothes or anything like that, it's going to smell like it for the rest of its life. So gloves are very important, also some shop towels to soak up any residue or anything that gets past you. Now let's get to this. And we're going to fill this entire rear diff up with gear oil all the way up until it starts to spill out from here. It should be a little over a quart, like quart and a half. But once it reaches the very, very bottom of this and starts to spill out, we're going to call it good, put this back in, and then we're done. Alright, so the bottom drain bolt also is a magnet, so it picks up any sludge or anything like that. So you're going to want to make sure to wipe all of that off. Alright, so that's all wiped off. You can see there's the magnet Alright, so now you can see it's just kind of dripping, and when you go to put this back in, you want to make sure obviously the magnet goes on the drain, not the fill port, because they are two different ones. I did replace the O-ring on here, or the crush washer, so we're just going to go ahead and stick this up on in there. And we're just going to go ahead and snug this down. If you're looking for a torque spec, it's going to be about good and tight. I'm just going to stick that in right inside there, something like that, and just kind of pump away. So there you can see, whoops, there we go. There you can see all the oil going in there, the new gear oil, and we are just going to pump this up. Alright, got the fresh quart. There she goes. And that means she is full. So we're just going to throw this bad boy in. So, now that that's all done, I'm just going to tighten that up, throw the wheels on, we're going to call this project all done. Alright guys, so now wheels are back on, everything's done, everything's cleaned up. I torqued all the wheels down to about 95 foot-pounds with my torque wrench. And now the only thing left to do is go ahead and jump in the car, pump the brakes a bunch of times until you get good positive brake feedback, and then take it for a test drive, make sure she still stops, nothing squeaking, rattling, coming loose, anything like that. So, sorry this one was a longer one. Appreciate you guys sticking around, and stay tuned for next weekend. We actually have a nice big project coming for the BRZ that Afton's going to come over and help me out with. And for the front end here, it's pretty cool, pretty unique. I don't think I've seen a video on it, so it should be pretty fun and exciting. So see you guys next time. Appreciate you all sticking around. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Keep having fun. Bye-bye.